Good afternoon, everyone. I'm calling to order, yeah, I turned it on. I'm calling to order the Board of Trustees public session for December 10th, 2024, our last meeting of the year. Yay. Monica, can you please call the roll to confirm a quorum?
Yes, trustees, when I say your name, could you please let me know if you're present? Chair Chen,
Present?
Vice Chair Price Jones,
Present.
Trustee Chaudhry, Trustee Keller,
Present.
Trustee Moore. Present. Trustee Pastrone,
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
Trustee Stanton Buttram. Present. Trustee Tuminello,
Present.
Trustee Uvala.
Present.
There are 9 trustees present, so we have a quorum.
Thank you, Monica. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for this meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, could you please take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approve?
Vice Chair Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Keller,
Approved.
Trustee Moore. Approved. Trustee Pastrone.
Approve.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram. Approved. Trustee Tuminello. Approved. Trustee Uvala.
Approve.
Chair Moore, the motion passes.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to today's meeting. This afternoon, we have the pleasure of hearing from 2 of our faculty members who were on sabbatical last academic year. Dr. Lindsay, would you like to invite Dr. Milner to introduce our faculty presenters?
I would, and I'd also like to start by again thanking the board for your support of these sabbaticals. They really are for the benefit of our students, and we appreciate your understanding how valuable this information is for us as a whole. And with that, I'm happy to provide our provost the mic.
Thank you. Tonight, as you said, Dr. Chen, we have invited 2 of our faculty members. The first up is Scott Cooper. Scott is a tenured professor in the World Languages Department in the School of Liberal Arts. Scott is also serving as the interim assistant dean of transfer studies and student success this year. Professor Cooper has been a faculty member at Anne Arundel Community College for 18 years. His sabbatical was centered around the completion of his dissertation on bilingual education in 19th century Baltimore as part of his PhD in instructional leadership. The focus of Professor Cooper's dissertation is political power structures that alternately supported and opposed bilingual education in Baltimore City during the 19th and 20th centuries. As a result of this research, the opportunities and challenges associated with the education of multilingual learners at AACC can be addressed, and students will benefit from the findings. The findings will be shared with the Departments of World Languages and English Language Learning to also build better collaboration between the two to increase the amount of quality instructional resources at AACC for our students. Please, Dr. Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking everyone who supported me in the sabbatical process. The Board of Trustees, President Lindsay, and Vice Presidents Mildner, Beardmore, Patterson, and Kralovich, Executive Assistant to the Vice President for Learning Phelps, Associate Vice President for Learning Smith, Dean of the School of Liberal Arts Morse, and Assistant Dean of Visual Arts, Performing Arts, and World Languages Bueller for their support in the application process, Chair of the Department of World Languages Meissner, Instructional Coordinator Haber, who helped fill my courses in the spring, Truxell Library, Interlibrary Loan Technician Phyllis Parker. Phyllis Parker is amazing. I could ask her to find me 19th century manuscripts in the basement of a castle in the former East Germany protected by a bear pit, and it would be there the next day. So Phyllis gets my my seal of approval. My colleagues who shared their own sabbatical experiences, the faculty, librarians, Director of Student Services at St. John's and Notre Dame of Maryland Universities. Most importantly, the many archivists and archive assistants who tirely assisted in my work, and also to Special Assistant to the President, Monica Rouse, who said that if I became nervous at any time during this presentation, just to look over and she would give me encouragement. So during my sabbatical in spring term 2024, I wrote 3 of the 5 substantive chapters of my dissertation for the PhD in Instructional Leadership for Changing Populations at Notre Dame of Maryland University in Baltimore. My project grew out of coursework in instructional law, intercultural communication, and teaching English to speakers of other languages, in which I learned about the historical background of the immigrant experience in the United States and the successes and failures to preserve native and community languages while promoting robust English language bilingualism. As the second largest city in the United States in 1840, when the first large wave of immigrants from Ireland and German-speaking Europe began to arrive, Baltimore already possessed a diverse population and was well positioned as an East Coast port city and headquarters of the B&O Railroad to become a major port of entry for new Americans. The city's parochial schools, Catholic, Protestant, and Jewish, were early adopters of the dual language immersion method, in which both native German-speaking and native English-speaking students learned half the day in German and half the day in German in the same classroom. Private venture for-profit schools adopted the model for those parents desiring a secular education, and several gained quite large enrollments. The private and parochial schools were so successful that the first bilingual public school in Baltimore did not open until 1874, 38 years after the first parochial school changed from a monolingual German to a bilingual curriculum. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Indianapolis were recognized as having the most advanced dual language immersion curricula in the nation during the second half of the 19th century. After being available in Baltimore during a period of 81 years, bilingual instruction came to an end in November 1917 after the United States' entry into World War I. My dissertation project centers around the political power structures that alternately supported and opposed bilingual education in Baltimore City during the 19th and early 20th centuries. My findings bear out the hypothesis that grassroots political organization is necessary for communities to acquire educational support that does not resort to restrictive instructional methods of subtractive bilingualism. Maryland's K-12 schools have thousands of students who speak another language at home, and they represent an untapped resource for building skills in languages critically needed in trade, industry, and national defense amongst their native English-speaking classmates. To take a lesson from history, 170 years ago, English-speaking families gave strong support to Baltimore's bilingual schools because of higher test scores, more innovative curricula, and the economic boost bilingualism could give their children in a port city dependent on trade with Europe. In 2024, Baltimore City has only a single dual language immersion school, an English-Spanish Catholic school housed at Sacred Heart in Highlandtown, which, as is very fitting, was the site of a dual language English-German school from 1876 to 1917. So it's really nice to see things coming full circle, that a school that was welcoming to immigrants in 1876 is now a school that's welcoming to immigrants in 2024, and educating both English-speaking and German or Spanish-speaking students in the same classroom. As Anne Arundel County navigates the opportunities and challenges associated with educating new generations of multilingual learners, AACC and its students will benefit from my sharing of my findings and events hosted by the Departments of World Languages and English Language Learning. They will also benefit from my informed collaboration, aka activism, with these departments and with achieving college and career advancement to increase the amount and quality of instructional resources for AACC's multilingual English learner students, such as our Summer Bridge program, hosted annually since 2022, and the ongoing work to identify bilingual colleagues to offer Spanish language and multilingual English learner-friendly sections of targeted general education courses. This concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Dr. Cooper, you used a term in your narrative that I wasn't familiar with, subtractive bilingualism?
Subtractive bilingualism. So this is
Subjective? Or
subtractive.
Yeah, that's what I
Subtractive.
thought I read, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that
Yeah,
term.
so subtractive bilingualism is when you take a child who speaks a minoritized language in the United States, you send them to an English language only school and basically ask them to learn English and forget as much of their native language as possible for the benefit of English. That's subtractive bilingualism. Yeah.
So on that point, I was really happy to see the definition of this term defined. Because when I was a child, I was a victim of subtractive bilingualism, because when I went to school, my parents, who were immigrants, were told you must speak only English to your children or their education would be inhibited, which is insane, right?
Which is insane because we
Yeah.
knew in the 19th century that the children studying the bilingual schools had higher test scores. In Baltimore City, children in the bilingual schools were able to complete the entire eight grades of elementary school in 6.5 years. It took the English-speaking children 8 years, so.
Chair, I had a comment.
So Professor, I just want to thank you for your report. It would just really touch my heart because for about 3 years, we operated a nonprofit at Highlandtown Elementary Middle School. And it was specifically for ELL students and their parents. So it was a community school, but it was really targeted to try to to close the loop and to have the wraparound services. So this really did, I mean, it's important work that you're doing, and I just say keep up the good work.
Thank you so
It's
much.
really
It's
needed.
activism, yes.
Yes, definitely. So thank you. for
Thank you very much, everyone. I appreciate your support.
Thank you very much.
Rachel Tannenbaum is a tenured professor in the psychology department in the School of Liberal Arts. She has been a faculty member at Anne Arundel Community College for 24 years. The central theme of Professor Tannenbaum's sabbatical was to create and plan a conference, I won't tell you the cool acronym, I'll let her do that, that focuses on those who teach Introduction to Psychology courses. Intro to Psychology is one of the most popular college courses in the country and taught primarily to non-majors early in their college career. The goal of the conference is to encourage students to consider a career in a variety of fields, equip them to think critically, and understand the complexity of human behavior. During Dr. Tannenbaum's sabbatical, she created a conference website and a conference planning manual to ensure that the work will continue in the future. Dr. Tannenbaum also worked with the Office of Sponsored Programs in order to secure a grant to assist with the cost of the speakers. Dr. Tannenbaum?
If you don't mind, I'm going to stand over here so I can see everyone. So sorry. I've done this before. That's not happening. I know it says don't move this, but. Okay, well, then, okay. You have a choice, microphone or this. Okay, so good afternoon, and I want to start by, is this loud enough? Okay. By thanking all of you for your continued support of faculty sabbaticals. This is my 25th year here. This was my first sabbatical. And having the time and space to work on this project just meant so much to me and has the potential to make such a difference. As Dr. Milner told you, the purpose of this sabbatical was to plan and host a teaching conference focused solely on intro psychology. And why that course? Because it's a really, really popular course. Over 1 million students take it each year in the United States, over 2,000 at AACC alone. And because most of them are not psychology majors and will never take another psychology course, that means this is the perfect opportunity to shape future leaders in all sorts of fields, because all majors, we get them all. A lot of you may have taken intro psych in college, and you probably were told to memorize 1 million key terms. And in the last few years, the American Psychological Association has recommended moving away from this approach and instead emphasizing scientific thinking and integrative themes. And over here, you can see paraphrases of 5 of the themes, many of which relate directly to the college core competencies. So things like personal wellness, scientific reasoning, social and civic responsibility. These students, they're going to be our teachers, our healthcare providers, our software developers, our lawmakers. An individual faculty member can easily be teaching hundreds of students per year. And so a conference like this can make a huge impact, especially when you consider the ripple effects. If we can foster critical thinking, get students to appreciate the complexity of human behavior, and generally just be healthier people and more informed voters and members of society, then we all benefit. So in my thoroughly unbiased opinion, this conference was quite a success. I am particularly pleased to note that a significant number of participants were adjuncts and graduate students, because one goal was to provide an accessible alternative for people who don't get professional development funding. And there are other conferences that do this, but it is one in North Carolina and one in Seattle. And these are examples of some of the topics. Some are very, very hyper course specific, some are more broadly pedagogical, but they all get at the conference's key goal, which is to give people concrete stuff that they can take directly back to their classrooms. And a follow-up survey this year showed that the majority said yes, they were in fact doing that. And I'm pleased to report that next year's conference is already underway, and I'd like to invite all of you. Our keynote speaker is going to be giving a public talk the night before about 3 psychologists who you probably have never heard of, but definitely had a huge impact on the lives of everybody in this room. And I just want to end by thanking so many people, definitely the board and administration for your support of sabbaticals in general. Office of Sponsored Programs helped me get a grant, helped me get another grant for this coming conference. Also Dean Morse, who generously helped fund the conference, so I was able to keep it free for all participants. But also so many other offices, people that patiently answered so many questions, because I know a lot of things in life, but finance and marketing and things like that are very definitely not my field. So lots of very, very patient people, logistical support, emotional support, all of it, thank you. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to take them.
Any questions?
As someone who's taken one of those classes and then did become an educator, thank you for leaning into that work. I'd say both projects and both sabbaticals really lead to equity and inclusion, and I'm just really proud to be part of an institution that's highlighting those efforts. So thank you both.
Thank you.
Any other comments? No? Thank you so much for your wonderful work. So thank you for your presentations. They were amazing. You are welcome to stay or you can go. But thank you very much. Okay, now we will move on to the consent agenda. Dr. Lindsay, would you like to read the main motion for the board?
The main motion is that the board approve the consent agenda as presented in this agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, Monica, will you take the vote?
Yes, trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen,
Approve?
Vice Chair Price Jones,
Approve.
Trustee Keller,
Approved.
Trustee Moore,
Approve.
Trustee Pastroni,
Approve?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Approve.
Trustee Stanton Buttram,
Approve.
Trustee Tuminello,
Approve.
and Trustee Uvala.
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. Now we will move on to the committee reports. First is Trustee Moore for the Budget Committee report.
The Board Budget Committee met via Zoom on December 5th and discussed the following: human resource topics, fiscal year 2025 update and budgetary implications, and the fiscal year 2026 budget. The committee also discussed future meetings. The meeting started with Vice President Beardmore noting the college was recently notified that we have received the Government Finance Officers Association Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for the fiscal year 2025. So congratulations. And further congratulations to Sue Callahan and the entire team that made this possible. We understand many members of the Strategic Communications, Planning, Research, and Institutional Assessment, as well as the President's Office, were instrumental in this process. So congratulations to Sue Callahan and her group as well. Well done. Next, the committee received an update on human resource topics, including collective bargaining and regulatory compliance associated with the Fair Labor Standards Act overtime wage exemption, required disclosures in employment offer letters and pay statements, required disclosures in job postings, safety requirements for employees when temperatures are above 90 degrees and above, and the Family and Medical Leave Insurance Benefit Program established by the state of Maryland. The committee was also updated on the Moody's rating process that was recently completed. Moody's affirmed the college's A2 rating, another great congratulatory message there, with a stable outlook. Additional details on the process will be shared with the full board in the weekly update. The remainder of our discussion included the review of the financial reports, including the operating budget status report, the projected tuition stabilization fund balance, and the multi-year projections. The committee also discussed the budget guiding principles and priorities, which were reviewed at the previous meeting. The committee was updated on the status of the fiscal year 2026 budget development and presented with a draft of the fiscal year 2026 to fiscal year 2031 capital budget, which will also be shared with the Facilities Committee at the next meeting. The committee will continue to meet as the development of the fiscal year 2026 budget continues. The committee's next meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January the 9th, and this concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Moore? None? Okay, we're moving on. Next is the AACC Foundation Report. I'd like to ask Trustee Keller to read the student donor letter as well as the liaison report.
Thank you. Dear donor, I want to say how grateful I am for the Parole Rotary Foundation Scholarship. Words can't describe how honored I am to have been selected. I have worked extremely hard over the years and it is a blessing to finally see the hard work start to pay off. This scholarship motivates me to keep pushing even on days when it all seems a bit too hard and will help me advance in my studies to meet my educational goals. My experience at AACC has changed my life completely. I grew up with a speech disorder and was recently diagnosed with ADHD, so learning has always been a challenge. I am enjoying my studies in cybersecurity and find it challenging in a good way. My dream after college is to work for the government as a cyber analyst and protect my country. One day, I'd like to own my own company providing security for businesses in my community. AACC has helped me grow so much over the semesters. I have met so many different teachers who were extremely awesome and truly want to see their students succeed. Again, thank you from the Parole Rotary Foundation Scholarship. It is truly an honor and a blessing to receive this financial assistance. Thank you for believing in my future. Scholarship recipient. Going into the report, as of December 5th, 2024, the AACC's foundation fundraising total is just over $1.6 million in gifts and commitments. The foundation is extremely grateful to the donors who have been given to date this fiscal year. During the past month, the foundation has received several 5- and 6-figure gifts from donors who wish to remain anonymous. These donations support the future nursing programs, professional scholarships, and the HelpLink program, both of which are essential resources for AACC students. And this concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Keller? Okay, we're moving on. There are no other committee reports for December, so we'll now ask for the president's report. Dr. Lindsay.
Thank you. I attended the American Association of Community Colleges Fall Board Meeting November 13th through 15th. This year, in addition to serving on the Board of Directors, I'm the chair of the Commission on Research and Community College Trends and Issues and serve on the Director and Membership Services Committee. Last Wednesday night, I attended the dinner at the Capstone Project for our hospitality students. It was amazing. We had several of our board members here who had the opportunity to have an incredibly great 7-course dinner. And I want to make the 7 courses. We ate every one of them. It was an incredible experience and totally off script. Today, we had some people go over to Ken's area and they came back with pastries. So they are the cutest, sweetest. You can't even eat them. They're too nice to look at. But Ken, what a great job your students did, and what a commitment to our students, because this is money that they're raising for themselves to have better opportunities. So it's a treat, really. On Friday, Professor Emeritus and my co-host for the Anne Arundel Community College Foundation Board of Directors luncheon was last Friday. We welcomed our retirees, including a surprise visit by Dr. Marty Smith, former president of the college, so it was wonderful to see her. We connected and celebrate our retirees and their exceptional service to our college and the foundation that they created, and we really want to make sure that we're keeping them in the family, and this annual event is a valued, they also gave me some information, Rick, on instructions on what some things we need to be doing with our email that we can talk about. So, it's a valuable meeting, yes. I'm also happy to share that the college was pleased to welcome the Maryland Latinos Unidos Pathways to Progress Summit, Advancing Latino Leadership and Representation in Maryland, right here this morning in our Health and Life Sciences building. It was a full audience, and the organization works to strive for civic engagement, voting, education, leadership development, and to strengthen the communities across the state. And it was an amazing opportunity for me to have a whole room full of Hispanic leaders as we're continuing to grow and cultivate this particular part of our area. I'm pleased to share that the Strategic Communications team received 4 awards for their design and video work from the College and University Designers Association and the National Council for Marketing and Public Relations, recognized by industry experts from hundreds of submissions by educational institutions across the country. Congratulations to our Executive Director, Dan Baum, and his team for these awards. Our winter break. So one of the values of our college is community and relationships, and I am so proud of our faculty and our staff for organizing so many wonderful opportunities to give back to our community. The administrative staff organization hosted a warm-up drive to support international students who were moved to a climate that is colder than they're used to, and to provide them with a warm-up kit. Are you going to talk about that, Angelo? Is he here? You're going to talk about it? I'm going to defer to him to tell us later. Otherwise, I was going to ask him to help us out now. Our student engagement is currently having a food pantry drive to help fill the shelves on our holiday season. Members of our facilities department are collecting donations in support of those affected by Hurricane Helene and will be driving to North Carolina mid-December. Our public safety department is organizing its annual Toys for Tot drive and drop-off locations at Arnold, Glen Burnie Town Center, and the Arundel Mills. Everybody's still collecting, so if people are still wanting to be generous, we're happy to support these organizations as we move forward. And I look forward to celebrating our amazing faculty and staff with our holiday celebrations at our Arnold campus on December 16th, Arundel Mills and GBTC on December the 17th. And as we approach the winter break and reflect upon the past year, we have so much to be grateful for. I continue to be proud of the AACC community and to be able to work with such passionate, dedicated, and hardworking colleagues. Thank you. And I will now call Dr. Richard Krolovic to the mic.
All right, good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure on behalf of the division to be able to speak with you a little bit today about some of the things that we're doing with our strategic technology roadmap. So we'll provide you an update on that, as well as a few details of that initiative, the status on our colleague SaaS, software as a service implementation, an update on where we stand with a few information security changes, as well as an overview of what we did for IT 2.0, which was a divisional reorganization. So, many of the board members have heard about our strategic technology roadmap in the past, but for those that are new, our strategic technology roadmap is comprised of 11 strategic initiatives, and we're currently 24 months into a 36-month plan. What the roadmap does is helps us to prioritize mission-critical technologies, secure the institution, move forward and away from obsolete platforms, as well as game plan around initiatives, enabling projects, and maintain fiscal discipline. So what are the initiatives? So we have them kind of listed here. So I'll give you a quick overview of what they are and what our status is. So we lead off with stack modernization. That major initiative is comprised primarily of our colleague SaaS implementation, which we're going to talk quite a bit about later. So we continue to support strategic enrollment management, information security at the time where we are reimagining and reevaluating our methodology around that. We'll provide you a more in-depth update on that in a couple slides as well. Continue to push digital accessibility as well as our move to the Azure cloud and that architected environment. Modernizing our desktop, our approach to, PCs and our virtualization. Continue to work through our unified communications, although that initiative is on hold right now. Talk about it briefly in a second. Working on creating innovative learning environments, working through software deployments, technology deferred maintenance initiatives, both of which we've done very well with recently and are kind of caught up on both of those since pre-pandemic levels, as well as continue to wrestle with our purposeful domain management. Each of these initiatives are comprised of a number of major projects. There are literally hundreds of projects that we're deploying across the institution, but I wanted to give you some of the a snapshot of some of the higher profile initiatives. We've talked about our accessibility fellows that we're doing in cooperation with Learning, our summer institute, as well as training and support, and that's gone extraordinarily well. Security and storage, looking at how we handle our G Drive, OneDrive, and SharePoint so that files can be accessible both on and off campus. Continue to deploy college-wide annual information security training. Our unified communications platform, which is basically a fancy way of talking about what are we going to do with our phones in the future. Continue to comply. It's crazy. Continue to comply with Maryland's privacy governance program, migrating to Windows 11, deploying MyACC, which is a new SharePoint-based intranet site, deploying multi-factor authentication for students, engaging in a data mapping initiative, which is going to help us to create a more robust record retention policy, supporting Floristano, floors 1 through 3, as well as a number of infrastructure initiatives. So the team has certainly been busy. What I wanted to spend some time on today was our colleague SaaS initiative. And again, SaaS stands for Software as a Service, which is fundamentally moving our instance. Our colleague is our ERP system, enterprise resource planning system, and it is kind of the center of our institutional universe. You can kind of see how the diagram on the left versus the diagram on the right. Our current environment over years has become, spaghetti, and that process is we want it to be a little bit more modernized, a little bit more replicable, as well as resilient. So we're moving forward with the SaaS initiative from what our environment currently is, which is fragile, to a more stabilized ecosystem, which you kind of can see demonstrated on the right. What is that ecosystem? Well, the outside of it is all of our systems, applications, tools, how it integrates and connects with our student information system, which is Colleague, that sets in the centerpiece, how we're going to architect the connection between these institutions, what the front end, back end will look like, how we're going to manage upgrades, make sure that we continue to have high availability, make sure that it's scalable, seamless, modern. These are all the things that we're working through in our SaaS initiative. As a little background for the board, why do we engage in a SaaS initiative? Well, for institutions like ours, it's not a situation of if, but when. Every institution in our community college in the state is going to have to go through this at some point. And we determined, last June when we went through this with the board that, it was better to do it on our terms, on our timeline, and that's what we've been doing. So SaaS will provide us a number of benefits, including improved security, our ability to upgrade, a simplified architecture, an improved student experience, as well as efficiency and service. Ultimately, we want our environment to be extensible and scalable, flexible, and provide for the ability for our institution to be able to collaborate around our information system. So the project timeline, as I mentioned a bit ago, we are, last June we were here and the board approved our move to SaaS, and we started immediately. So in July to October 2023 was phase 1, that was project initiation. We reviewed the status, established a timeline, and began to deploy our SaaS environments. Phase 2, which began in August, was our planning and discovery. This led to scans, customization of our inventories, as well as our system analysis. Phase 3, which we're in right now, is our SaaS readiness phase, where we implement modernizations and develop a plan for user accessibility testing. And in January, we'll be moving to our 4th phase, which is the migration. That's where we begin to clone the production environment, stage the migration, conduct actual user testing, do live simulations, and then ultimately go live in December of 2025, just 1 year away. I provided you a few slides that detail these phases a little bit more in depth. I'm not going to go through all the detail related to what we do in each and one of these phases, but I included these in the materials for the board because I want everybody to understand what immense work has gone on, not just by the IT team, but especially by the functional users around the institution. As we roll through phase 1 to phase 2, system analysis, into phase 3, which is evaluating, the modernization efforts, which we're currently in, as ultimately roll into phase 4, which is user acceptance testing. This constitutes thousands of hours across the institution, all across all 4 divisions, functional areas, everybody collaborating, working together to implement and hit our go-live date, which again is December of 2025. So we're providing you an update of where we are at now, and we'll continue to provide you updates as we progress throughout the course of the year. I mentioned earlier our information security model, which we are going to change. So we're reevaluating information security in order to strengthen our cybersecurity posture and align with institutional goals as we transition to more of a security model that's vendor-driven and that embraces a security information framework. This shift will provide us a more comprehensive approach to information security. It's going to be more cost-effective. It's going to improve incident response as well as our long-term resilience. Ultimately, the plan is to utilize this new model to strengthen our protections, mitigate risk, optimize business continuity, and ultimately improve response and resilience. So it's a new approach to information security that I think will help to improve our resilience institution-wide. Lastly, I want to just give you a quick update. We stood up IIT. As many of you may not know, IIT is the newest division within AACC. We stood it up dead center in the middle of the pandemic. One of the directions we received at the time was to hit the ground running, and that's what we did. So we started out, and we knew at some point we would have to sort of level set, and that's really what IIT 2.0 is we've used this fall to kind of level set on where we're at. The purpose of the reorganization was for continuous improvement and maximize efficiency, reduce gaps, align needs with the needs of the institution, revise our organization, structure, style, frequency of reporting, look at our change advisory board, which we call our CAB structure, form a joint operations group, do some office, move some house cleaning, and then complete the reorganization by April 15th. A couple of the highlights of it is we've worked with HR closely to review and revise all of our JAQs. We've created a new department, which we're calling Cloud and Endpoint Solutions. We've heard the need for more instructional designers related to supporting accessibility, and through being able to reclassify positions in collaboration with, HR, we were able to, as well as the vice presidents, we were able to find positions for 2 new instructional designers, which I think is going to make an incredible difference in accessibility. We are changing our information security model, as I mentioned, and this will also kind of help us to standardize and solidify our yearly operational cycle. So with that, I'll kind of wrap up and kind of close the way I always close, which is to say digital transformation is disruptive. Not all of these initiatives are by choice across the institution, so we certainly appreciate the patience and the support of our functional users as we sort of create the technology infrastructure for the next generation of ACC. So at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions I can.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Rick, I like the idea of going to a cybersecurity vendor. I think that they know more than we could possibly know. I do hope to caution you that you don't modify their product, their deliverables, because I've been down that road before, and then we forget what we did. Even though, we have the content recorded, it's just so much better if we can adapt to them instead of try to get them to adapt to us. So. Yeah,
I think it's excellent advice, and we were very deliberate in our approach to finding an information security vendor, and we vetted a lot of options, and I think that the organization that we've selected and we just really kicked off as of December 1st is going to be a great long-term partner for us. But that is well stated.
I really support that. Great work.
Yeah, I think you said before that security is a team sport, right? So that's what we always try to implement in that philosophy here as well.
Yeah, I've been on the bad end of that before, so.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much.
And then in reference to our continuing education and workforce development update,
You may see Sandy Jones's name there. I am the acting Sandy Jones tonight to go through an update from our continuing ed and workforce development school. The School of Continuing Education and Workforce Development is made up of several unique departments designed to serve specific populations such as individuals seeking to obtain a high school credential, adult learners taking a personal enrichment course, professionals looking to upgrade their skills, and new entrants to the workforce looking to obtain an entry-level career in a variety of industries, including trades and healthcare. Encompassing student services, admissions, records, registration, and advising, a business office, and institutional assessment responsibilities, along with curriculum and instruction under one school, and with enrollment just over 36,000 in FY '24, CEWD is a college within a college. CEWD's operations team is responsible for supporting the work of the programming staff through managing and auditing the course and section creation process, registering students, and data analysis and reporting. Staff within the school are responsible for all phases of the enrollment lifecycle, including course scheduling, student and adjunct faculty recruitment, and student retention and completion. In the first half of FY '25, as you can see, we have 85 new courses were created, 2,953 sections have been offered, 1,058 student inquiries have been responded to, and 5,796 registrations have been processed. Growth in CEWD's non-credit programs continues to be slow and steady, with the strongest enrollment being in senior programming and courses and programs for multilingual learners, followed closely behind by programming and workforce development areas such as the skilled trades and healthcare. Because registration for CEWD's non-credit courses can occur at any time throughout the year, enrollment is reviewed on a weekly basis and is compared with a similar point in time to the prior fiscal year. The week-to-week analysis is used as a forecasting tool to predict the FTE for the current fiscal year. As shown in the chart, FY '25 FTE, that yellow line that you can see creeping up for the current year, is trending slightly higher than the previous FY '24, with an increase of 101 FTE. The Hotel, Culinary Arts, and Tourism Institute that Dr. Lindsay just referred to, the wonderful gourmet dinner that I had to miss because I was not feeling well. Credit and non-credit programs fall under the School of Continuing Ed and Workforce Development. While HCAT's non-credit FTE is included with non-credit data, the credit data is tracked separately. HCAT's credit programs continue to show strong growth, with 191 students enrolled for the fall semester in a degree or certificate program. Contract credit data represents credit courses and programs offered under a contract training agreement with entities such as the Department of Defense and the Anne Arundel County Fire Department. Enrollment in contract credit activity varies from year to year based on the needs of the businesses and organizations in our community. CEWD student demographics continues to closely mirror the population of Anne Arundel County. 57% of our students identify as white, followed by Black African American at 14% and Hispanic at 10%. Students in CEWD's courses and programs include elementary school age children participating in kids and college summer camps, all the way up to senior students over 100 years old. The largest single group represented in CEWD's courses and programs is ages 61 to 70, with about 47% of the student population or learner population, followed by 21 to 40 with about 23% of the learner population. Students in CEWD courses aimed at career preparation or advancement are considered completers upon earning a Y grade. In FY '24, CEWD had 1,658 completers. The Clausen Center for Innovation and Skilled Trades launched in January 2022, offering courses in electrical, low voltage, HVAC, and carpentry, with welding added in August 2022, when the welding lab became fully operational. This fiscal year, Iron Worker Registered Apprenticeship Program in partnership with Associated Builders and Contractors and Medical Technologies combination of HVAC and plumbing topics programs were introduced. Since opening, 814 students have taken courses at the center with a combined enrollment of 2,402. Meet Trevor. Trevor was enrolled in credit classes at the college, but wasn't sure if a traditional credit path was right for him. Trevor soon learned about the carpentry program at the Clausen Center for Innovation and Skilled Trades and decided to enroll. Trevor successfully completed the program and is now employed at Bayview Builders in Annapolis. Says Rich Lang, Director of Construction, Trevor came to us with a working knowledge of how to use common power tools safely, a general understanding of basic carpentry skills, and a strong desire to learn. And as a result, Trevor has been able to make an instant impact on our production team. Last month, CEWD hosted its 26th high school completion ceremony for students who obtained a high school credential through completion of the National External Diploma Program, or passing the GED. Several of our board members were in attendance and sat right up on stage thanking and congratulating the students that evening. Like in previous years, this year's graduates persevered despite having to overcome one or two or more obstacles to reach their goals. As Johnny Rivera, one of the student speakers who is now pursuing a construction management AAS degree at AACC, noted, my advice to anyone who is interested in getting their diploma is just go for it. No matter what you may feel, just go for it. Don't ever wonder how things could have been. And I'd like us to end on that lovely note. Any questions for me or our CEWD team?
Yes, please.
If we could go back a couple of slides to the bar chart, Clausen Center enrollment by program. Do we know why, there we go.
There we
That's it.
are.
Do we know why the plumbing and carpentry programs seem so much lower enrolled?
And I think-
I'm actually wondering if it's a lack of faculty.
I think that's part of it. I think
Yeah.
we've historically seen that those two programs trend quite a bit lower than electrical and HVAC. I don't think it's only interest. I think we do have a tougher time getting and retaining faculty.
Okay, thank you so much.
I would just like to make a quick comment, which is I love how well poised AACC is with our workforce development education. That is an emphasis under our governor's strategic
Yes.
education plan, and we are right there with them, so that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. And that's not because of me. That's Sandy Jones and her team.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any other?
Also, thank you.
And now from our academic forum/council, Dr. Shelley Webb, public hearing.
Thank you for allowing me to deliver this Academic Forum Council report today. I'm filling in for Chair Andy Kim. So as I said last year, the one time I had to fill in, I probably cannot answer any of your questions, but if you have them, I will find out the answers and get back to you. So Academic Forum Council had its third meeting of this academic year on Thursday, November 14th. The following committees delivered reports. Co-chair of Academic Integrity Review, Dawn Ryan, reported that the committee had received 23 cases this academic year. Co-chair of eLearner Success, Dr. Megan Myers, provided an update about electronic textbooks and accessibility. Co-chair of the Subcommittee on High Impact Practices, Dr. Mary Holden Musser informed the body that the committee had added accessibility to one of its goals for the year, and the committee will offer an IPD, a professional development opportunity, in the spring semester. The council unanimously approved a motion from the Committee on Educational Policy and Curriculum, EPC, that accepted a number of course proposals that had worked through the EPC process this semester. The council also heard the following reports. Dr. Liu explained PRIA's data literacy initiative and workshop series and Tableau Tea Time 2.0. Vice President Patterson shared the fall 2024 FTE report and upcoming course registration dates with the body. And Chair Andrew Kim provided a progress report on an Academic Council membership project. Academic Council meets virtually this Thursday, December 12th at 3:30, and Academic Forum meets virtually on Thursday, January 23, which is also my birthday, at 3:30 also. Are there any questions? Thank you. I appreciate that. Great, that concludes my report. Thank you.
And from our administrative staff organization, Dr. Angela DeLassinese.
Dr. Lindsay, trustees, we met as a general body meeting on November 20th. We voted on our goals, and we started transitioning from members at large into divisional representatives, and we're starting working on our charter changes. So that work is moving forward. On November 30th, as you mentioned, Dr. Lindsay, Aberdeen Chatham hold the winter warm drive. We're meeting tomorrow as executive team, and if there are any unfulfilled requirements, then ASO will be covering those for the students. December 6th, we met, Dr. Bowen hosted the ASO Policy Lunch and Learn. We discussed the student withdrawal extenuating circumstances policy, as well as the tuition and residency classification. And the comments have been already forwarded. November 21st, we hosted our first Chesapeake Innovation Summit together with AAEDC, Maryland Department of Commerce, and Maryland Tech Council. We had over 70 community representatives in this room. And our next meeting is going to be on January 15th. And with that, I conclude my report, and if there are any questions. Thank you.
And from our professional and support staff organization, Caitlin Silver is
Hello. Thank you so much for giving PSSO the time to share our updates as we close out the fall semester. Thus far, we have hosted standard monthly business meetings in addition to 3 professional enrichment workshops for our membership. Our final standard business meeting of the semester occurred on November 20th, and there we had each of our committees with PSSO representation, as well as internal PSSO committees, share their updates to close out the year. We also discussed policies that are currently under review here at the college. Tomorrow, we're having our special meeting, which will feature updates from our awesome PVP folks here. We're very excited to welcome them and give our members opportunities to hear directly from our PVP about happenings here at the college in their respective areas. Immediately following the meeting with PVP updates, our PSSO Engagement Committee is generously hosting a social event that will include an ornament exchange as well as winter crafts to help send folks on their way and close out the semester strong and continue to kind of building our connection together. This will help to continue to foster our inclusive environment that we've been striving for this year for all of our members as we work to make a space that will value all of our constituents to help them feel safe and seen as a part of the AACC community. PSSO was proud to sponsor the drive that Dr. Lindsay mentioned before for those folks impacted by Hurricane Helene in North Carolina. This was led, of course, by Rick Moore and Jason Bird from our facilities team. They saw a saw a need and rose to the occasion, completely initiating everything, organizing the drive, getting the work done. And we're so grateful to Rick, who is personally driving the items to North Carolina for delivery later this month. Collection does go until this Friday. If you wish to drop off any items, they are particularly looking for warm clothes items, jackets, gloves, socks, as well as shelf-stable food items. If you have any need to donate, we're happy to accept those and get them to where they need to be. We look forward to kicking off the spring semester together on January 29th at a welcome back event for all of PSSO to continue to foster that sense of community for our members. We will be doing an event at Arnold on the 29th, and then February 4th, we will have those events at GBTC and Arundel Mills for all of our members. Following these welcome back events, we will return to our standard model of one business meeting per month with a professional enrichment opportunity at least once a month throughout the spring semester. And we want to extend our sincere gratitude to VP Rick here for meeting with us and working with us for our goal of bringing technology-related workshops to our members. We currently have a survey out to our members to provide feedback on what areas they'd like to learn more about within the realm of technology. And we will be collecting those results by the end of this week so that we can reconnect and sort out some plans to get those onto the calendar. We look forward to closing out this semester strong and coming back ready to work again in the spring, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Where is the drop-off?
Great question. It is right behind the foundation building, the Libby building,
Yeah.
and there's some teal signage that has arrows to show
Oh,
you
great.
exactly where to
Awesome.
go. Thank
Okay,
you.
got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other questions? Great, thank you so much.
And our Student Government Association Executive Vice President, TJ Majors.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lindsay, and good afternoon, Board of Trustees. I have the pleasure of filling in to give our SGA updates. My name is TJ Majors, and I'm the Executive VP of SGA. We had recent events such as the General Forum, which took place on November 22nd. We had 17 clubs in attendance. And it was a great way for SGA to give our updates for the semester to the clubs and other students who joined. Vice President Beardmore also gave an update on the facilities master plan, and students were able to give their opinions and ask any questions. So thank you, VP Beardmore. That was very helpful. On December 4th, SGA participated in Health and Wellness Center's Stress Less Festival. That was a great way for us to have a table in the student union, and students could come up to us and ask us any questions and give us any feedback or concerns. We also, the day after, we also had our SGA holiday hangout in the Sun Dining Hall. It was a great way for students to just hang out with SGA and eat snacks and have drinks. We also participate in things outside of events, such as the Amplifying Student Voices event, which was on October 5th. And that was very helpful to us because we mainly learned about diversity, equity, and inclusion, how to define it, and how to best support our community with DEI in mind. And then me personally, as Executive Vice President, I'm a part of the Impact and Excellence Awards Planning Committee, and have been able to give any opinions and feedback I have in that committee as well. And also the VP of DEIA meets with the IDEAL office regularly. This semester, we've been looking for ways to be more accessible to the student body, and ways we've been doing that is by having a virtual suggestion box on the Nest, and we have been working on getting a shared SGA email as well, just to make it easier for students to get in contact with SGA. And we're looking for ways to support students, and we're always listening to students' concerns, and we're looking forward to a great spring semester. So thank you, and is there any questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, trustees. Happy December. If you listen carefully, you will hear the pitter-patter of feet. That's the sound of faculty running towards the end of the semester. It is indeed finals week for our Term 1 and Term 3 classes. This week marks the culmination of our fall semester. Faculty are very busy, administering final exams, assessing final projects, and calculating final grades. Final. If you see a faculty member, whether here at ACC or another institution of higher learning, give them a hug. Offer them some chocolate. Show them some kindness. Ask them how they're doing. It's a stressful time for us, and we are looking forward to winter break. TFO met recently last Wednesday, December 4th, in our continuing efforts to celebrate scholarly work. We heard from Professor Scott Cooper about his sabbatical work as he presented as well tonight to the Board of Trustees. Professor Cooper was very excited to share with me all of the architecture he witnessed in Baltimore as a part of his research, so we made a wonderful connection with his work. Our TFO representative for the 2026 Facilities Master Plan Steering Committee is Professor Kim Law in Business Management. At our most recent meeting, she reported on the purpose and the current work of the steering committee and explained the 5 phases of the master plan development. She did tell us that we are currently in phase 2, the evaluate. The development of the facilities master plan is multifaceted and will occur over the next 14 months. TFO leadership continues to meet monthly with college administration and HR to discuss a variety of issues and initiatives that affect faculty welfare, status, and work environment. And in an effort to build relationships with the vice presidents, I had coffee dates with each one of them this fall semester. It was quite delightful to sit with them and just chat. Many thanks to the vice presidents for affording me time to sit with them and talk and just get to know them. I have to tell you that each month, September, October, November, December, I was able to meet with each vice president. Vice President Beardmore mentored me as a new leader, so I really appreciated that. Dr. Rick and I bonded over technology and argued Apple versus Samsung. Dr. Milner and I bonded over our shared woes of parenting adult children. And Dr. P and I have never had a chance to spend time together, but we found a shared love of Colorado, so it was wonderful to sit with them. I am really looking forward to time with them in the spring semester. On behalf of HCAT and Dr. Lindsay, she stole my thunder on this one. I just want to extend a gratitude to a few of our trustees who attended the HCAT student dinner last Wednesday. You really did miss a good dinner. You did. Chair Chen, Vice Chair, Price Jones, Trustee Chandri, Trustee Rodriguez, and Trustee Tuminello. I really hope that my plate for you was good. I got her some dried meats there. Thank you so much for accompanying Dr. Lindsay to the event. When the board shows up at these kinds of events, faculty take notice. And we appreciate your support and interest in our respective disciplines. As I promised, I told you I would highlight some awesome faculty at ACC, so here we go. Back in October, in getting prepared for the upcoming November election, Professors Lindsay McCullough and Chris Mona in our Visual Arts Department hosted a letterpress slam where students could ink and print posters encouraging people to vote in the upcoming national election. Students used the Visual Art Department's collection of movable type to design the prints, and then they used the prints, were posted around the campus and the community, encouraging people to get out there and vote. You may have heard some mumblings about this one, but I'm going to give a super shout out to Dr. Seth Miller, Dr. Tammy Domineski, Dr. Lauren Giuseppe. These are all faculty in our biology department, and our STEM coordinator, Matt Bem, on landing a $600,000, that's $600,000 National Science Foundation grant to support undergraduate research here at AACC. The grant is called BRICS, and that's BRICCS. It does have a little, I'm very close to that with the BRICS. And it's called Building Research Infrastructure at Community Colleges. The team will use the grant to fund faculty engaged in extracurricular research projects with students, and they'll support the Student Research Intensive program, RISE, which is now in its 3rd year.
and a new high-rise for incoming students. It will also be used to create a professional development program called the Faculty Research Fellows, where faculty can learn how to create research projects for RISE as an extracurricular experiences and to incorporate into a course or to teach as a part of our research experience course, that's Sci 201. As well, the grant will help establish STEM transfer cohorts for students transitioning into a four-year school. The grant funds this work over 4 years, and the team will start implementing these initiatives in this coming spring semester. More to come about our awesome faculty, so stay tuned. This concludes my report. What questions can I answer for you? Awesome, thank you. On behalf of the faculty organization, we extend our happiest wishes to you all for holidays and New Year come. Take a break, y'all deserve it. Look forward to seeing you in January.
And moving on to the Maryland Association of Community Colleges report, the annual Maryland Association of Community Colleges, otherwise known as MAC, trustee leadership conference and legislative reception will be on Monday, January the 27th, at the Governor Calvert Hall House in Annapolis. The conference is from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock, and the legislative reception is from 6 o'clock to 7:30. For our new trustees, the MAC trustee conference provides
That's an overview, thank you. Turn that off and then forgot to turn it back on, sorry. For our new students, the new trustees, the MAC Trustee Conference provides an overview of the MAC's 2025 legislative agenda and invites guest speakers to provide an overview of federal issues in higher education that may affect community colleges. At the reception, board members and college leadership will meet with Anne Arundel County elected officials. If you have not submitted your RSVP to Melissa Sumpler, please do so right away. So we want to make sure that we're getting all the board members over there who can attend. And the opening day of the 447th session of the Maryland General Assembly will convene on January the 8th, 2025, and the MAC Legislative Committee will start meeting each week, starting in January and throughout the session, to review proposed legislation that affects community colleges. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. I have my mic on. Okay, is there any new business? Hearing none, I would like to remind the board that there are no pending items, and the January 14th public session meeting is canceled. So you're off the hook.
Oh, no.
Okay.
What are you going to do, Larry, play golf? That's my point.
Yeah, they'll be out there. They'll be out there. Okay. The board budget workshop will be on Thursday, February 13th at 8:30 a.m., which will also include an update on the facilities master planning process. The next public session meeting will be Tuesday, February 25th. At this time, is there a motion to close the meeting to consult staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation pursuant to Section 3-305B8 of the General Provisions Article of the Maryland Code?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Monica, will you take the vote, please?
Yes. Trustees, when I call your name, please state your vote. Chair Chen.
Approve.
Vice Chair Price Jones.
Approved.
Trustee Keller.
Approved.
Trustee Moore.
Approved.
Trustee Pastrone.
Approved?
Trustee Rodriguez.
Approved?
Trustee Stan Buttram. Approve. Trustee Tumanello.
Approve.
Trustee Uvala.
Approve.
Chair Chen, the motion passes.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, everyone. I hope you all have a wonderful, warm holiday with your loved ones. This meeting is adjourned.